Let me first begin by saying that I do not know Matthew Perry, never met him, and I am not in any way mocking or discounting or diminishing or in any way causing any collective disrepute directed to his untimely death. This is not a mocking or derision or sarcasm or anything along those lines. It's not about Matthew Perry at all. Nothing. It has nothing to do with him. It's about Automourn. It's about a bigger concept. But first, you must understand that we live in a society where the first thing people want to do is to try and see if there is any way that they can possibly take offense with what you are saying. It's critical. They have to find a way to be offended, hurt, because hurt and being offended defines them. It's their pain. It's their admission ticket to the human race by showing the scars of their own, anger or contempt or what have you. Okay, so let me get that out of the way. I believe I coined, in fact, that was years ago, maybe 40 years ago. I remember professionally referring to two concepts, Automourn and auto-loot. Auto-loot is whenever there's a systematic destruction of order in any particular area, people immediately start to loot and steal. It's seen everywhere. It's something, I think it's part of the human reflex. I don't know why, but in any event, that's true. Then there's Automourn, and this is a little different. This is a form of synchronized, choreographed, kind of this lugubrious, funereal, over-the-top, disproportionate, upset, public shows of deep and utter, inconsolable sadness usually over somebody who has died, who is either a professional or in the public eye or what have you. Automourn, I have said, is a synchronized, choreographed group collective where social media automatons profess hysterical, inconsolable, and insincere grief over the death of a celebrity stranger they've never thought of or about ever. And why this is important and why this is critical is that, as you know, social media is primarily the site, the environment of people who are, for all practical purposes, antisocial and socially disconnected. Because they have not been able to respond normally, and because they have been forced to condense their feelings into little 100 and whatever character glyphs and verbal farts and burps and eructations, they've had to turn the volume up for two reasons. Number one, because they are so illiterate and so unable to convey the slightest of opinions, cogently, in a short amount of time. So eloquence and breviloquence are certainly not a part of their quiver. But in any event, they're forced to do this. The next thing is, and this is critical, the next thing is that they're unable to put into proportion a reaction. Everything for some time now has always been over the top. That's hysterical. That's hilarious. That's amazing. Awesome. Superlatives. Everything. And when someone dies, you don't have to publicly go online to show the schmutz, to go online and to show. It drives me nuts. You don't have to go online to show your proportioned response to the death of somebody. You have to compete with others to show that your particular loss, your particular sense of loss and bereavement is greater than anybody else's. And you write things like no words, or you do the hands over the mouth And this, always showing that you're overwhelmed, you're overcome soon by the vapors, by this cascade, this avalanche of feelings. Because in this particular case, Matthew Perry's death is something that you cannot put into words. You've never thought of Matthew Perry. You're not even sure exactly what it is that he did. Years ago, when we became more and more aware of the notion of spectrum disorders and Asperger's and all of the various iterations of such, I remember reading about a person and persons who went to movies and saw dramas and comedies to see how people interacted, to see how folks dealt with issues of life, how to listen, how to respond, how to laugh, how to be surprised, how to be angry, when to be angry. They try to learn, that was very interesting, the notion of proportion of emotion and feelings and the like. We have a number of spectral disorders today that haven't even been defined yet. By virtue of our juvenescence, a kind of a systematized, choreographed, syncopated immaturity and juvenescent kind of a trance that many of our younger people are in, who, by the way, cannot communicate, do not make eye contact, cannot shake hands, do not interact, do not want to drive, do not want to date, do not want to marry, spend hours worrying about the particular iterations of pronouns and whether they're a cat. People who only define themselves by virtue of the image they portray vis-a-vis the lens of social media. One of the latest scrums, of course, as I said, is Automourn, the chance for you to show your reaction. No words. Oh, and the misuse of the term literally. My eyes literally bugged out of my head. No, they didn't. I literally died. No, you didn't. Figuratively, yes. So this is a symptom of a group of people who want more than anything else to feel connected to something, but who also want to enjoy a degree of connectivity within the parameters of social media. And Automourn is that palette, color, that aspect that allows them to enter this world, to say, look, see, I'm valid. See, I feel pain. I'm legit. See, I can, but moreover, and this is the most important part, it's the competition. My pain, my loss is greater than yours. I mean, you might be upset over the death of Matthew Perry, and again, not meant in any way to disparage it, but my loss, my bereavement, my sense of psychic and social disconnect is greater than anything you will ever be able to imagine. And that's the issue here. And that's what this is about. I'll be talking more and more about social media aspects, people who lose their minds on airlines, Karens, masks, and that sort of thing. But remember, the theme is because this new iteration of human, by virtue of COVID and lockdowns and social media, is somebody who is completely disconnected from reality and disconnected from the level and the volume of emotions which normally would accompany various events of life. Okay? I'd love for you to comment. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos, and whatever you do, I ask you to comment as you see fit.